Representative Eric Swalwell kept asking Secretary Noem the same simple question. Did the president post a doctored photo of Kilmar Ábrego García that falsely suggested MS-13 ties? Noem repeatedly refused to treat the image as a plain factual question and instead dodged to process and prosecutions, even while the president kept sharing the image as proof.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. You have an important job. I think you have one of the most important jobs in the cabinet. Thank you for doing it. I want you to have credibility and be taken seriously as you do the job. And so I want to put to rest this question about Mr. Garcia and this photo that the president posted on April 21. Madam Secretary, you agree that the letters MS and the number 13 in Times Roman numeral font, that they are doctored on this photo, right?
Congressman Ábrego García.
No, I'm just asking about this photo.
It wasn't based off of tattoos. It was based off an entire case.
And I'll accept that
case against him.
for the purpose of this question. You agree, though, that this is doctored. Is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have
individual with
credibility,
law
and
enforcement.
I want you to be taken seriously. Is this doctored or is it not doctored?
I am taken quite seriously.
Is it
because I
doctored
approach
or
my
not
job
doctored?
With the importance that the president has given me to do
I understand.
my job.
Is it doctored or not
Something
doctored?
that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built.
Madam Secretary, I have a
individuals
7-year-old,
in
a
the same
6-year-old, and a
protocols.
3-year-old. I have a bullshit detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
Sir, the protocols in the case built against
Can you
Ábrego
answer the
García
question?
were exactly the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have
you're-
any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you
I
take
don't,
her,
sir.
can you show her the photo? Walk her the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was tweeted by the president on April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
My question is, the numbers and the letter MS-13, could you look at the photo, please? It's right in front of
Are
you.
you saying Ábrego García is not a wife
No,
beater?
no, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal,
ma'am,
he's not a human trafficker, and he's not a member of MS-13?
You vouched for Mr. Garcia when
You're
your team
vouching for
said,
a man
ma'am, you
that is
vouched
a
for him when
known
you said he
violent
was mistakenly
criminal.
deported.
Sir,
I didn't vouch for him.
I did not say
In that
He
photo.
should have been deported, absolutely.
It's so
There was
telling
never a
that you
mistake
won't look at the
deported,
photo.
And we will not be bringing
Was
him back
it
to this
doctored or
country.
not?
In staying here, if
Can
he
you
comes
look to
back
your
the
right
country, he
at
would
the
be
photo in
taken
front
right
of you?
away.
Madam Secretary, can you look to the right at the photo in front of you?
I have seen this
Okay.
photo as you held it behind your heads.
Thank you. And the letters MS and the numbers 13, are those
Is
doctored
this your
or
entire
not?
testimony today is on a doctored photo? You don't want to talk about the facts?
Okay,
The
so
importance of our national security?
You acknowledge it was
Do
doctored.
to make sure that the United States is protected?
Madam Secretary,
from
this is not a hard
violent
question.
criminals?
Are those doctored or not?
Sir,
is that actually on his hand or not?
This is unbelievable to me that you're focused
It's
on
unbelievable
a
to me
photo
that you can't
think-
look at the photo and tell the
I
American
looked at
people.
the photo, but I don't have any knowledge as to this photo.
Okay, so it's been hanging out there for 4 weeks. You are one of the chief law enforcement officials in the country. What have you done to investigate whether the president misrepresented the reason that that person has been detained?
Sir,
Have
we
you
spend our
done
time-
anything to try and figure out whether that was doctored or not?
The mission of the Department of Homeland Security is to secure our nation and to make sure that we're out there going after those that are the worst of the worst, the criminals, the bad actors. Ábrego
Yes.
García.
So the answer is
a
you've done
known
nothing to
terrorist,
correct the
member
president.
of MS-13, a wife beater and a human trafficker that should never have been in this country to begin with.
So, Madam Secretary, thank you, Mr. Burnett. 2 weeks ago, your agency deported a 4-year-old American citizen in a stage 4 cancer battle. What are you doing to get him back to the country so he can get his treatment?
Congressman, this mother wished to keep her family together and to take her child with her. So as every single person is given the opportunity to, medical care is given throughout the process.
so it sounds like
And for this
nothing.
child, medical care was confirmed in their home country so that it would continue, and those treatments and whatever needs were needed to be had into the future were confirmed to be provided there before.
That child's home country is the United States. Do you believe you have a right to deport a U.S. citizen?
That mother chose to keep her family together, and that is what President Trump is focused on.
That's
making
not the
sure
facts of the case.
that- Yes, it is the facts.
Madam
This
Secretary,
mother
moving on,
confirmed that she wanted to
do
keep
you
her
have a
child
right?
with her, and our families and parents are given that ability to keep their children with them when they return to their home countries.
Madam Secretary, do you have a right to deport a U.S. citizen?
No, we do not deport U.S. citizens and have not deported U.S. citizens.
Except the 4-year-old that we just
No,
referenced.
that mother chose to keep her child with her, and that is her prerogative, and the law was followed in allowing her the opportunity to do that.
So, Madam Secretary, I'm a former prosecutor. I have put people away for life sentences who are gang members. I don't need to wear costumes to show how tough I am. What makes me different from you is when I put those individuals away, I did it with the weight of the law behind me. And I yield back.
That hearing was almost unwatchable, and not because it was boring. It was almost unwatchable because it showed how dangerous it is when the top levels of power trade in edited images and rushed enforcement instead of facts and due process. Why does a doctored photo matter so much? Because when a president holds up an edited image and calls someone a gang member in public, that single act can poison the well. It shapes public opinion, it can prejudice jurors, it can influence officials who are supposed to follow the rule of law, and it shapes the way DHS and its partners think about a person before all the evidence is in. The public needs clear, authoritative corrections when powerful actors publish falsehoods. Otherwise, misinformation becomes policy. The stakes aren't hypothetical. This same line of questioning in the hearing tied directly to grievous, real-world outcomes. Kilmar Ábrego García was previously wrongfully deported despite a court order and has been at the center of frantic legal fights and public scrutiny. This is not merely a media story, it's a live legal matter that can be skewed by false public characterizations. When policymakers and the public conflate accusation with guilt, the consequences can be life-altering. Swalwell also pressed Noem about American children who have been deported with parents, even reports of U.S. citizen kids sent out of the country, including a small child with stage 4 cancer. Multiple investigations have documented that U.S. citizen children were swept up in deportation actions. Advocates and lawyers have filed suits alleging wrongful removals and failures to provide meaningful due process. That's the human dimension of what otherwise sounds like bureaucratic hair-splitting. You're not arguing percentages on a spreadsheet. You're talking about infants and toddlers who may have been denied medical care, legal counsel, and the protections our Constitution promises. Lawmakers weren't grandstanding when they demanded answers. They were asking for the most basic kinds of human decency from an agency that wields enormous power over people's lives. So why did Swalwell keep repeating the question? Because accountability requires clarity. If a high official refuses to confirm whether an image is altered, and that image was used to justify public rhetoric or enforcement actions, Congress has to know what the department did to correct the record, to investigate the provenance of the image, and to ensure that enforcement decisions weren't biased by a viral falsehood. Noem's reluctance to simply say, "We've investigated and here's what we found," undermines public trust. It leaves a gap where misinformation can become an excuse for heavy-handed action. That gap is precisely where abuses happen, and why the committee's oversight role matters. What should happen next? First, an immediate public accounting. DHS should publish what steps it took to verify or debunk the photo, whether that image influenced any enforcement decisions, and what corrective statements were issued and to whom. Second, any verified wrongful deportations, especially involving U.S. citizens or medically fragile children, should trigger urgent remedial steps, including return and continuity of medical care where needed, fast-track reviews, and a transparent audit of the operational protocols that produced the error. Third, Congress should press the Inspector General to examine whether political messaging affected enforcement priorities or individual removals. Finally, the DOJ and DHS should reaffirm procedural safeguards, access to counsel, timely hearings, and evidence-based charging so that no viral post substitutes for judicial process. This isn't partisan theater. It's a test of whether American law enforcement will be guided by facts, evidence, and the Constitution, or by spectacle. If you care about fairness, about due process, and about protecting the vulnerable from both crime and state error, here's what you can do. Call your representative and demand answers and oversight, support legal aid groups that help families facing deportation, and share verified reporting about cases so facts, not false images, drive policy. Hold leaders to a simple standard. When a mistake or misrepresentation happens at the top, fix it quickly, publicly, and with real remedies for those harmed.